Okay, Chris, this tutorial is for you today. I know that you like staying on top of politics for your civics class, so I'm going to show you how to set up an RSS feed so that you can get the latest articles as soon as they come out. Even if you haven't checked the webpage, you'll be notified that they are there, so you can check them. First thing you need to do is download a reader. So Feedly is probably the most common one, pretty easy to use, so I'm just going to use that, but I could always show you another one if you feel like you need something more than this offers. So first of all, you need to get started with it. I already have an account, so I'm going to log in. You'll see when you click on this, it's pretty much the exact same screen. So you get that, you set it up. I would just do it with Google. That's how I set mine up. So once you've got an account, you can just click log in with Google. And then you will get to this page. So you'll see this is where your different feeds are going to be listed. You haven't created one yet. So if you click add content, it's just going to bring this same screen up, but click publication blogs, and here you go. So if you're looking for politics, I would start with just typing in politics. You'll see what comes up. You have The Atlantic, always nice for Ta-Nehisi Coates articles, and others, of course. But I'm going to try to give you a little bit of both sides here. So you want something very liberal, so you click on Think Progress. You're going to have to create a new feed. Since you've already typed in politics, you might just choose that and create. Again, Drudge Report, extremely conservative. So if you want to follow that, it'll bring up all the different feeds you have here. Since you only have one, just add it to politics. As you go over here, you'll notice both of those are now here. Not gonna quite go to that yet. I'm gonna add some more and show you what I think is the easiest way to add them. So you'll have various things. Again, if you type in politics like I did, different sites will come up. However, it's often easier, since not all sites will come up, if you just go to a particular site that you're interested in. So let's go to NPR. If you want to narrow it down, because if you do the whole NPR, you're going to get a lot of updates, but you just want politics. So click on politics, go to the homepage of any topic with NPR, and if you copy the URL into this search box, okay, now you have the politics podcast. So you can follow that, again, add it to your politics feed. Another useful one, I know a publication you tend to go to a lot, the New York Times. It's going to be pretty much the exact same thing. So if I go to politics, it'll take me to the politics homepage. I can copy this, replace that with the New York Times. Now I have the politics RSS feed. So now if I look over here, you'll see I have politics. If I just want to look at NPR, I can click on this. I have these different options here. If I want to look at all of them, okay, I can click on that, and you'll see it lists the publication over here, but you have all these different articles. You think this looks interesting, click on this. You can go to the website. All the highlighting, things like that, you actually have to have the paid subscription to go for, but yeah, I wouldn't worry about that right now. I'm just showing you the basics. You can scroll to the next one if you want. Pretty basic with that. One other thing that's somewhat handy, if you're going through this, you realize, I don't really like what I'm getting from Think Progress. If you go to the settings here, it'll bring up all the ones that you're subscribed to. Click on Think Progress. You can reorganize things, rename, but you can also just unfollow it. Now it will no longer show up in your feed. So one other thing I think would be really useful for you is I know you do a lot with local politics as well. So I'm going to go back to the Add Content, Publication and Blogs. And let's start out, I'm just going to, instead of Google searching, I have these bookmarked, but if you just go to the Bellingham Herald, go to the full menu, and you look around, I see politics. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to do the same thing, copying the URL, pasting it. But now, so I'm going to follow this one, but instead of just putting it under general politics, I'm going to create a new feed of local politics. So I'm following that now. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to go to the Seattle Times. usually really good, a little bit more with politics. So I'm going to go to local news and then local politics. You probably noticed that you could do national politics with the Seattle Times as well. But considering you have the New York Times, some others, you might not necessarily need the Seattle Times. So, gives you a few here. This is the one I wanted, local politics. So I'll click follow, and then I have my choice of which feed to put it under. I'm going to go with local politics. Now, when you come over here, you'll see you have the local politics. There's the Seattle Times, the Bellingham Herald. Then you also have these three here for the regular politics. So you have those, you're able to set them up, you can add, delete as you want, and then you can follow them. So if you're just interested in all the local politics articles, click on this. You'll see this brings up several recent articles. You can scroll through, do what you want with them. One other thing that can be handy as well is you can create a board. So say this is for a civics lesson on, maybe the recent election, something like that. You want to create a board. So we'll just make this election for the civics class. Then you'll see when you come over here, say, let's see, New York Times probably has something about the election. But let's say this one is, obviously you've got this article here. So if I click on this star, I can save it to a board. That's what the star is you can save it to a board. So I could create a new one, or I can just save it to this. Now it's saved to that particular board. Then if I go in here, you'll see I have this board. I could save 5, 6, however many articles that I want that relate to this topic to this board. And then when I open it, I will just have all those various topics. So I could limit it down by election. I could do pretty much anything with that. If I wanted to look at the Supreme Court, articles related to the Supreme Court, Congress, President Trump, whatever it is, I could just save them all there. Or if I wanted to look at local elections, I could create another board for local elections. Totally up to you what you want to do with that. But then you have this, it's all of those related articles in one spot, which can be handy. So another thing I wanted to show you is this is all for civics, but if you were looking at, say, teaching AP, U.S. history again, or even just regular U.S. history. I think you have a U.S. history class this year. I could add content, do this, and whatever it might be. I don't know what a great history site could be, but probably something like PBS. So figure, I'm not really savvy with what the history things are, but assume that there is a history element here. You go to that home page, you can copy it, come back here, paste it for PBS, and then, okay, so Nova, maybe there are going to be some history things on that. See if there's anything that's specifically history. No, but let's just say Nova. So you could follow, and then you've got these, but again, you just click New Feed, and suddenly you have a U.S. history feed. And then, you get a Ken Burns documentary, something like that shows up. It'll let you know if it's related to history, assuming that it's history, not just Nova. And then you'll have this feed right here. So all these different things, what's inside the Great Pyramid, okay, you might be able to find some things there. So overall, this will be useful. You can organize all these different articles by site, by article itself. If you want to create a board down here, that's probably one of the more useful ways. I think particularly knowing you're really good at taking a bunch of different sources and using them together in a lesson. So I would say it might be nice to create a new board, and your board might just be something related to, well, actually, an assignment I know you use every year. The Middle East, forgot one there. So the Middle East Peace Summit. So now I have this board, and then if you are looking for different things, if there's some articles from the New York Times, again, say you have something here that has to do with Israel and Palestine, This obviously isn't it, but if you click on that, then again, you can go up to the star, save it to a board. Now I have this Middle East Peace Summit. So now you could save a bunch of different articles to that and then use those with the students before you get going with that assignment, maybe use it to set it up, all of that. So anyway, play around with it. I think if you download Feedly and you start getting an RSS feed for some of these things, you're going to find it really useful. So play around with it, like I said, and then if you have any questions, let me know. I can try to help you out and narrow things down a little bit more so that it might be a little bit easier for you. Good luck.